Lesson 1 for the instructors, let's talk about some things we need to remember. Number 1, let's talk about the spectator stance. This is where most kids can relate to standing in line in the cafeteria, the library, being in line waiting to get on the bus, or watching a football game, or not being able to have a place in the bleachers to stand or to sit, so they stand like this on the sidelines. And remember, when you give them these reasonings, look at their age group and decide what kind of a picture you're going to paint in their head. If it's an older kid, you might say you're at a party with a couple of friends, or you're standing at the mall, or you're going up an escalator and you're standing with your feet in a spectator position where you kind of lose your balance. Or if you're just standing talking to a group of friends and someone was to fall down and grab you, would you grow into your friends? If they're adults, you give them illustrations or examples of the workplace, standing in line to use the copier, getting a cup of coffee at the coffee maker, or even going to stand in line to sign in at the time card. How we stand, balance, is going to be a very important part of that. So when you give them these different illustrations, look at the age groups, and if you have, mostly you have kids, they're going to be standing in school. And the wall locker is a good example of how they lose their balance, and also getting a drink out of the water fountain is also when they lose their balance. And in the bathroom where the teachers aren't, they're going to be washing their hands, they might get pushed into the sink. So make sure as instructors you find ways to give them illustrations on why it's important for them to learn the information you're sharing with them. Now when you're explaining the ready stance, it's nothing more than taking your strong foot, slightly stepping back. I know a lot of you are so used to either being in a spectator position or a sparring position, you got to find that middle ground. And make sure they know the difference between what a sparring position is and then how to go to a spectator position, and then put them in a ready position. When you do the example of showing how quickly it creates distance, remember, your feet shoulder width apart and a person standing right there, he puts his arm out and you take a step back, you never create more distance from your hand to their chest. But if you stand in the ready stance and he places your hand there, when you step back, you almost give yourself 12 to 18 inches of distance. And that will really help some of the kids understand that if they're standing in front of someone that might be a threat, you definitely want to stand in that ready position. So once they understand balance, then we'll talk about hand placement. But make sure you give them examples, and when you move them around in circles, don't let them go too crazy, but keep it very controlled. The adults could walk and they stop to meet someone, they automatically go into the ready position. If you have a kid that's running to get in line at a lunchroom, have them stop and have them get into the ready position, just so they know that they're going to be doing a bunch of other things around, and the ready position should start becoming second nature. Because when a lot of us brush our teeth, we stand in the spectator position, don't you? And when you wash your hands in the sink, you stand in the spectator position. And even when you comb your hair. Well, listen, balance is a real important part, and as school owners, you guys know balance is real important, especially from the sparring position. When you get into the real world of self-defense, it's really important because it helps gauge that level between greater than, less than, making them equal than.